The reason I started my channel is to prove that Hemi swaps don't need to be expensive.
And as soon as Hemi swaps were doable, there's no way I was putting a Chevy motor in it.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Hey folks, we're on another adventure, but we're gonna see if we can get the truck fired up. It's been sitting for a couple days, and unfortunately it's been cold. It's been about minus 33, 35 degrees C, which about minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit last night. And just so you know, that's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. And if you don't know where that expression comes from, or perhaps this refers to sailing ophthalmology, in which it refers to the device made of brass that was used to contain the cannonballs on the deck of the ship. And when it got cold enough, the device would contract and pop the balls out. No, this is a myth. It comes from the terms of freeze the tail off the brass monkey or freeze the nose off a brass monkey, on which this was made to sound so much worse, because who would want to lose those? Okay, back to you. All right, let's go see if the old Dodge will fire up. Let's give it a go. There we go. Get that key in there. Let's see how much luck we have. Oh, look at that. Woo! Oh. Try again. It's a no. Aha! When in doubt, give it more power. Success. Filled up. We also stopped and got some food for ourselves, and I checked the oil, and now we're on the road for the drive. Let's see how it goes. Highways do get slick once in a while around here, and even the big guys have little issues with it. Hopefully everyone's okay. Well folks, we just crossed into Saskatchewan, leaving Alberta, still headed to our destination. We'll let you know what's there when we get there.
everyone, we made it to our destination. We are with Glenn Miller, and we're going to take a look at some of the work he's done because it is awesome. So tell us what you're working on, Glenn.
It's a 1965 Fargo swept line.
Yeah.
It was a long box, now it's a short box.
Okay.
It's on a 1990s Chevy Silverado chassis.
Okay, right on. So we got a Chevy Silverado chassis underneath.
Yeah, with
Okay.
full air ride and 4-link rear.
Nice.
Spindles. And a 5.7 Hemi and a...
Whoa, hold on now. Okay, so you're telling me we got a Chevy chassis
Yep,
and a Hemi engine
yep,
in a Fargo.
yep.
Okay, interesting. We're gonna have to take a close look at this.
In the process of doing the interior, we put in a custom auto carpets carpet kit out of the States. They do a really bang up job. Their carpets fit really well. We'll take that out.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is sharp. You get the Pentastar logo there.
The seats are at the upholsters in Lethbridge at the moment. They're getting redone in kind of an off-white and red color to match the outside. With the help of DIY Hemi, you can run all of the factory gauges with their adapter. The spacer plate has a spot for the two sending units, so I have a fan and the temperature sender. Put in a port for the mechanical. The door panels are a steel pressed. They have a design in them. They're the same color as what the seats are being done. We've also put in vintage air, so it's got
I
a
was
complete
noticing that. You
air
can
conditioning
see,
in it.
you can see the underdash air conditioning. I'm going to use my knee and not my foot here. And then you can see the controls over here. Like very clean, very simple. Like this nice, clean install. And for shifting the transmission, you're still using the column shift?
We are.
Awesome.
Yeah, I used the shift cable right out of the Aspen.
Okay.
I've built a custom mount for it under the hood there.
Right
So
on.
instead of it coming up and attaching into the steering column, it's done at the bottom of the column on this.
Cool.
With an aftermarket column. So back here in the bed, because it's been C-notched, I have put this in for clearance for the axle to come up. And then this aluminum box has the compressor, fuel pump relay, and all the relays and everything for running the air rides. So
Right on. Well, maybe we can get this up in the air and have a look
betcha.
underneath some
Yeah.
of the other amazing work that you've done. Now, the frame doesn't quite look like a stock Chevy frame to me.
No, it's been shortened and the 4-link added.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of glare, but where did you shorten it at? Oh, there, that'll help.
Actually, if we look on the outside of the frame rail, let's go to this side.
Okay.
Is in the side. What we had on the Chevy was there was too much kick up
Yeah.
for the box height. So shortening it where the kick up was halfway through it.
Right.
Killed two birds with one stone.
Oh,
It shortened
that's brilliant, yeah.
and then brought it down as well. The reason we put it on the Chevy chassis is because they're well designed, good handling,
Yeah.
and cheap parts.
Sure.
And we were going to run this small box Chevy.
Okay.
And that was before Hemi swaps were even doable.
Right. Okay, I see what you did. Yeah, so you just shortened the kick up, which dropped the frame height down,
And brought it
and
forward.
then
Yeah.
brought it forward. Wow,
Yeah.
that worked out really good.
You betcha. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of problems adapting the Hemi to the Chevy chassis?
Actually, not really. It's even got Chevy motor mounts on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we can see our GM mount sitting there. Oh, wow.
The only thing I had to do was, because of the oil filter position,
Yeah.
I had to move it forward an inch from my original design.
Wow. Yeah, that oil filter is pretty close, isn't it? Can you get it off?
Yep, it comes out no
just
problem.
enough,
Yeah.
just enough room there. Man, that's awesome. Wicks, very good. You got a Wicks filter on there, the Napa Gold.
Yes.
Wicks, yeah. We come under here and you can see our custom exhaust a little bit. Where to get these? Well, Glenn made them. And you can go to his channel, I'll put the link in the description down below, and check out him building this truck because it is just awesome. Comes into a very nice exhaust system, but here's something that's really cool, guys. Let's follow this back. Integrated drive shaft loop, and the exhaust goes right through. And if you check out Glenn's channel, you can watch him build this whole section here, and it's awesome. That's one of the things that really impresses is your fabrication skills. Like,
Thank you.
just amazing. And now tell us a little bit about this transmission cross member here.
Well, this portion from here out is the factory GM one.
Right.
This piece here is straight out of the Aspen.
No way.
It's just unbolted. I used the mount. I had to build a little spacer up here.
Yeah.
And I drilled 5 holes on each side. So there's 4 bolts here, 1 on top on each side to triangulate it. And it just bolted right in at the right height.
That just dropped right in there.
Yep.
Looks like perfect alignment even, like, and this is a custom drive shaft, obviously.
Done myself, yep.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's another way you can save money. There's another channel called Half-Ass Customs. I don't know if you
I'm
watch it.
familiar with them, yes.
Okay, well, if you watch his channel, and this is no word of a lie, you take your drive shaft, you cut it to length, you put your new yoke in, you put a dial indicator on the drive shaft with the wheels off the ground, block one wheel if it's a non-posi,
Yeah.
and spin it, and you tap this until you get under 20 thou, is
Right.
what they say.
You get the run out.
I'm at 11.
Yeah.
And then I tacked it in 4 places, pulled it out and welded it.
Yeah.
This is the 4th drive shaft I've done, and we haven't felt a vibration yet. We haven't been on a highway. I did this one,
Yeah.
and no vibrations. So
Let's continue moving back to the fuel system here. Now, that's not a stock Fargo tank, I'm thinking.
no, no. I built the outer shell, and it's aluminum jegs, 17-gallon US tank.
Right. And what are you using for a pump in there?
I'm using a Walbro 362, I think it is, 362. Yeah. And then with the Corvette.
You got the Corvette
Regulating.
regulator right there for the Hemi. It works great for the Hemi as well. Yeah.
The only issue with these pumps is you have to draw out the bottom of the tank.
Yeah.
You can't pull out the top. They have to be gravity fed.
And is it loud or is it
Not at all.
not at all? No.
It's got a little bit of a, you can hear it once in a while, but it's so far back in this one
Yeah.
that in my Dodge, it's right below the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And even in it, you can't hear it run.
Oh, wow.
But if you don't buy the Walbro, if you buy the knockoff,
Yeah.
be prepared because they're loud like crazy.
But this, I like this feature here. That's stock Fargo, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It is on this one, yeah. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the exhaust and the roll pan here.
Well, the Fargo, it had a big recess in the metal here, and then it had the great big step bumper on, because these were built as farm trucks, right?
Yep.
We wanted a cleaner look, and I wanted to build a roll pan,
Yep.
and I didn't want the exhaust below it. So I custom designed the tips. They're the same shape as the back window in the Fargo.
When we get it back down, we'll have a
Yeah.
look but yeah, that back window, exhaust tip. Back window, exhaust tip. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's cool.
Put the openings in, and then because these come through such a tight opening, I had to build this special hanger here
Right.
that is adjustable side to side and up and down.
Well, that's a clever solution. Right on. Look at that. And is this on your channel when you build this?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Of course it is. So go to Glenn's channel, guys. Check it out. It's awesome. Let's let it down. We'll take a look at the windows and then wrap this up. So, Glenn, thank you so much for allowing me to come out, have a look at the project. Again, I just love the work you do. The reason I start my channel is to prove that Hemi swaps don't need to be expensive. But you've done a couple of them now on your hot rod. Well, it's under the tarp right now, but I'll put a link in my channel where we do have a look at your car. And that's another great example of being able to get these done. You had a 440 in it, is that
It
correct?
had a 440 with a 727,
Yeah,
and I bought a write-off Chrysler 300,
okay.
5.7 at 05 for $800.
Oh, wow.
And I bought an RH46, which is the
Okay.
first generation overdrive,
Right,
because I wanted that for the mileage. So that one, if I hadn't, the motor ran perfectly.
Yep.
It had quite a bit of front end damage, so all of the rad and everything was shot. But it's a custom rad and that, so that was probably around $1,200 running with the transmission. I got a transmission for $400 out of Nanaimo, BC.
nice.
Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is if you're doing a swap, don't be afraid to buy a 4-wheel drive pickup. To do the swap, that Aspen is automatic 4-wheel drive.
Yes.
But there is a tailstock available for the 545 RFE.
Right.
For a 2-wheel drive, all of the 2-wheel drive, I found the tailstock with the tail output shaft for $75
Awesome.
from transmission
And
parts.
now, as I recall, you do not have to dig into the transmission to change that shaft
I think
out
there's
either.
12 bolts.
Yes.
You pop it takes off the transfer case.
Yeah.
You put a new bead of silicone on because there's silicone from the factory, and you bolt that thing on, and it's now a 2-wheel drive transmission.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to convert those transmissions over.
And even in the computer, there's no reference to 4-wheel drive.
Right.
It's done in a separate part in
Right.
the truck itself.
Yeah, that is a very good tip, and it's a good piece for people to know, because I'm actually a fairly big fan of the 545 RFE. I think it's a fairly versatile transmission,
Right.
and it works well. Could it be stronger? Sure. I mean, many could, but for what you've got here, like this, I think it'll hold up just fine.
There's what is there, 600, 700 pounds on the back
Yeah,
tires.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Check out the headers he did for his Dodge car. Those things are awesome. They look something like that, folks. And how do you find the power on the 5.7 Hemi compared to that 440?
No comparison.
Oh, really?
No comparison.
Yeah, the 440 put out a lot more.
No.
Oh, it didn't, eh?
No. The only thing that the 440 was, it was cool.
Yeah.
It sounded good.
Yeah.
It wouldn't pass a gas station.
Yeah.
I got 14 miles to the gallon with the 440.
Yeah.
And on my 4,600 kilometer trip to BC and back, I averaged 28 miles per gallon.
Wow. And you got more power, you figure.
Yeah, and that's through the mountains in the big cities. That was around here on the flats. I'm at 30 miles per gallon all the time. I kept the MDS on mine. I've had no issues with it, so
Right on.
you might as well get the mileage.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So you could probably safely say you get that swap done for $2,500.
Oh, easy with money left over in your pocket.
Yeah. So now let's get into this one, because this thing's cool too. And how many hours would you say you've got into some of that?
Well, in the whole truck, I'm probably in the 1,600 range.
Yeah,
That's over. We purchased the truck 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I shortened the box, did the whole framework 5 or 6 years ago. And then when I retired in July, that's when I brought it back in.
You were telling me a little bit more about the interior of the truck.
Yeah, we're using the front seats and the rear console out of the Aspen. They're an absolute perfect fit. I just had to cut the mounts off the bottom and weld 4 plates on each seat, and they bolt right in.
Oh, wow.
So
you really used everything out of that Aspen.
Yeah, everything we can.
You got your money's worth out of that
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
And then I'm gonna part out the Aspen now.
Parts are for sale if anyone needs them.
Yep.
You'll have the link to Glenn's channel, so just give him a shout.
20-inch aftermarket wheels.
Yeah, those aren't bad. Still pretty decent shape. Awesome. So we've got a 5.7 Hemi out of that Durango, or Aspen that
Aspen,
got picked up,
Aspen,
Chrysler Aspen, but same as a Durango essentially.
Yeah,
And
a bunch of more bells and whistles.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you bought that from a salvage auction as well? Is that,
Yes, we bid online for it. We got it for $2,100. We were outbid, but the guy reneged, and so we ended up getting it.
So this is the bone stock out of the Aspen. You didn't put a new cam or anything like that in there?
No.
Yeah.
No, we kept the MDS, we kept everything. It was a hail write-off, so there was nothing on it.
Nothing
There
wrong with
was,
it.
we drove 170 kilometers to pick it up.
Wow, really?
Turned the key and got a 1-day Saskatchewan permit and drove it home.
Well, how did you get into the Hemi swap? Like, how did you figure out how to do this?
Well, with your help.
Oh, okay.
And, and a couple of YouTubers, Shelby Dog.
Shelby Dog, okay.
Yeah, and DIY Hemi.
Of course, yeah. Which is now Sublime. We'll give them a shout
You
out.
betcha,
Those guys
yeah,
are
because
awesome.
they are.
Yeah.
They've helped me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And as soon as Hemi swaps were doable, there's no way I was putting a Chevy motor in it.
So
Yeah.
$2,100 got you the powertrain that you
Motor
have here.
transmission, yeah.
And did you use anything else, like the computer or the wiring or any
We
of that?
use tire engine harness, the computer, part of the body harness, just what we need. There's basically 4 hot wires and some grounds.
So again, if you were doing this on the cheap, and we're
Yeah.
saying on the cheap, you could probably do most of this for about $2,500 again then.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
And you'd have replicate what you have here for the most part. Now, my understanding is you did a little bit more than that.
That's correct. Like from Dakota Digital,
Yeah.
and it's a speedometer driver. The guy that owns this truck wanted to keep the factory gauges and factory cluster in it. So
Yeah.
to keep that speedometer, this box picks up the speed signal from the transmission. There's a motor inside here that is calibrated to spin the factory speedometer.
Right on.
That is Bluetooth adjustable. And this thing carries a lifetime warranty. It'll never wear out because they'll just replace it. So
Right on.
that's pretty, it's not cheap. It's $550 Canadian.
Okay, if you have a lifetime warranty for that then.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Aspen had 224,000 kilometers, I think, on it.
Yeah.
Because it's going into this, we didn't want to have to take it out, so we regasketed the whole engine. We put a new oil pump in, a new timing set, basically cleaned it all up. With that many kilometers, there's virtually no wear. There's still crosshatch in the cylinders.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
I have found that too when I take these things apart. And for our American friends, 220,000 kilometers is roughly 130 miles, 130,000 miles,
yeah.
roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less than that. But
Yeah. So I, like, really, if you wanted to get on the cheap, we could have put this motor straight in out of there and not had an issue.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, other than it was a little dirty and there was
Well,
crap everywhere.
it's certainly not dirty now. Let's have a good look at this here. I like what you've done with the intake here. That looks great. Painted the block up.
We painted the whole engine
Yeah.
Hemi orange, yeah.
I love the way you mounted the PCM there. That's awesome. Lots of really good. This is one of the things I really enjoy about your channel, Glenn, is the craftsmanship that you have and the care that you put into your work. Like, I mean, that looks like it just belongs in there. It's fantastic.
It sure filled up that engine bay quick.
Yeah, it does do that. Yeah, they are a little wider than those old small blocks, aren't they?
Yeah, well, this had a slant 6 in it.
I love the little details, Glenn. You did a great job. Now, we did want to mention one other thing about this swap, I think, regarding the oil pan, wasn't it?
Right. So, once again, going to a truck.
Yeah.
The truck, I think, is the best donor. They've got the simplest wiring harness. Plus, the intake manifold. The intake manifold from the Aspen and the truck are the same.
Yeah.
Same with the front cover. But the oil pan on the Aspen is split to go over top of the
That
front
front
diff.
diff.
So, I just happen to have a scrap motor out of a truck. So, we use that oil
It's got the
pan
rear sump on it.
with the rear sump, which worked well.
Yeah, and that's my take too. Most of the stuff I do is with the trucks simply because the trucks are the cheapest and simplest to get into,
Yeah.
and they're the most out there. The other thing is the PCM is completely integrated. It has the TCM and PCM in one. The
Right.
wiring harness is complete for the engine and the transmission. It just has everything you need to do a very simple install for the least amount of money.
If you can buy a Chrysler 300 for $800 like I did,
Yeah.
and now the NAG one is not a good swap transmission.
No, I
It's
would
just
agree with
too
that.
expensive to computerize it. Using an RH46 or even a 727 out of the small block, you could be on the road for $1,800.
That's kind of the key, is you can get one of these swaps done and you can make it look really clean. You put a little time and effort into it for not much money. Like we said, you find it for $2,500, $3,000 will give you almost everything you need
Yeah.
to get a swap done. It doesn't have to cost you $10,000 to put a modern Hemi in something.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna part out the Aspen now.
Yeah.
And there's a transfer case, all the differentials, almost the whole interior except for the 2 seats for the front and the console. So we may get what we put into it.
Yeah, you might, even if you get a few $100 out of it, it's still money back in your pocket. Now, of course, this is doing the work yourself. I'd imagine when you pay someone else to do it, the cost would go up a bit.
Considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're custom building engine mounts and
Yes.
and headers and stuff like that.
There's 2 ways you can approach this too, folks. The way we've done it is we've gone the route of programming the computers ourselves.
Yes.
Using HP tuners. You could also use the Holly systems to manage all this and run these things too. So you got a couple options, and depending on what you're doing for the swap, if it's a one-time deal, you really want to look at the two, because the Holly might be your better option there. If it's something you're going to do a few more times, well, maybe the HP. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. The Holly, for example, you're not going to be able to just pull into your local parts store and get parts for it, right?
Exactly.
Whereas you might be able to pull up to the Chrysler dealer or something and get stuff you need for the swap that you have if you're using the factory component. You might be able to do a little more custom tuning and a lot less effort to unlock the PCM and stuff like that using the Holly system. Whereas you're going to have a little more difficulty doing some of the custom stuff with the...
Yeah, actually the HP tuner, it cost me, on my Dodge, it cost me $428 to have my computer reprogrammed.
Right.
And it wasn't done properly, so I ended up buying a computer from DIY Hemi.
Sublime now.
Sublime, so that I could get that going. HP tuners cost me $450.
Yeah.
So now I've unlocked 2 computers. I ordered a spare computer for this one that we're going to put the program on.
Yep.
In BC, Ontario, it doesn't matter. It takes no room. If he has issues, 4 plugins and 3 screws, and he's back on the road.
He's back on the road. Exactly my point is, whereas you get something like the Holly. Well, now you're ordering it from Holly or trying to find a speed shop or something that has it, so that you can get back on the road. You can go to pick your part yard and you can get spare computers. You can unlock them. You can program up to 2015. I will put that in there. After 2015, you get a little more to do, and you're going to have to send it out to someone to unlock it for you. But well, we'll send people over to DIY Hemi, or now Sublime Technologies, to check out some of that tech, because it'll help you out if you're planning on doing a Hemi swap.
Exactly. Yeah.
2005 up to about 2014, you'll be able to program the computer fairly easily.
It took me literally 20 minutes to shut the skim off.
Once you grasp it, takes a lot more to learn it and figure it out. But once you grasp the concept and the proper way to do it, it's actually very easy to do the basic stuff. Now, you want to get into the custom tuning, that's not us.
Nope.
That's a whole different ball game. But for the swaps, you can get in there. It's pretty easy to do, folks.
This still has this, whatever Chrysler tuned it, that's what it's going to have, because you can go in and start playing with stuff on HP tuners and blow this motor up in a...
Oh, yeah. So we'll give you that caution.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. So
awesome. Well, thanks again, Glenn.
You bet. Well, thanks a whole bunch for coming out.
Yeah, and it's been my pleasure to give you some advice here and there. Not that you've needed a lot. You pretty much did most of it yourself.
Well, the wiring is not really...
But it's nice to see somewhat my efforts actually come to fruition too, and see how it turns out. As someone is fond of saying, if it works, is it a bad idea? No.
Exactly. Okay.
Awesome. All right, Glenn, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks a bunch.
Yeah, it's been great getting out here. So thank you, all of you. Make sure you check out Glenn's channel. It might undergo a name change soon. And just in case you're wondering what Glenn's changing the channel name to, there you go. Just look for the Redneck Cowboy of the Coachworks. But we'll put both names up just to make sure. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, everyone. To come visit Glenn and look at that truck was really neat, but that it's not the only thing we came out here for. I'll flip the camera around and show you what else is going on. Well, there's the other thing we came for. And there's a hint as to what it's for right down there. If you can figure that out, great. If not, well, keep watching the channel. You'll see what's happening. We're gonna get the sun going down, folks. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more daylight yet, but trying to make it back. I'll let you know how it goes. Look over there. There's the Alberta sign.
Well, we made it home. We're safe. We got this here. I've got to figure out how to unload it in all this snow, but that's another story. And if you don't mind hitting the old thumbs up there now, that'd be great. Helps us out. So, can we do a Hemi swap inexpensively? The answer is, well, yes, you can. You just have to be a little bit creative. You've seen two examples where you could probably get it done for about $2,500. I myself have put stuff together for about $1,500 Canadian. That's like a case of beer or something in America. Anyways, that wraps it up. You can do a Hemi swap without having to break the bank. So I'd like to thank you all for watching and have an awesome day. Oh, and one more thing. Come on, guys. You didn't think we'd leave without firing this up, did you? Go for it, Glenn. Let's go check out the exhaust. Sounds really good. Hey, one more blip from up here. Yeah, that sounds really good, folks. Just purrs. Look at that.